Hi, guys. Welcome to She Speaks Bravo. I'm Emily. Today is Atlanta Day. Kendrick will be joining me. In case you missed it, Kendrick will be doing Potomac with me as well. So I got him. Your online harassment worked. It was effective. Well done. Job accomplished. Mission accomplished. Job accomplished. I swear. My communication skills, I don't normally do this, but I am going to blame retrograde apparently is happening to multiple planets. I don't know. I like when that pops up on my timeline, because then I can be like, okay, I'll blame that, because I swear I can barely string sentences together, which is typically important when recording a podcast or YouTube video. You usually need verbal skills, and mine are lacking. And if that wasn't a good pitch, if you're new here, why don't you subscribe? So much to look forward to. I'm finishing up Atlanta, and I'm also covering Beverly Hills and Southern Charm, soon to be Salt Lake City, Potomac, and Winter House. And for you true crime heads, I'm going to be covering The Real Bling Ring, which is the Netflix 3-part docu-series about the bling ring. Remember those people from the early aughts who, well, you remember. If you don't, take a little trip down memory lane, and on Bravo, on the Bravo app, you can, it's streaming the Pretty Wild, which is the very dated and very inappropriate reality show about the girl from the bling ring and her mom and sisters. It's incredibly, it just cancel. It would be so canceled. None of it would be okay today. But they are doing a modern, like they've caught up with all of those kids now. One of my followers said it was released in the UK already, and he saw it and he said, I'm going to love it. So can't wait for that. Anyway, if you are already subscribed and you're returning and you're back, and how are you? How are you doing? Hi. Thank you guys so much. I love you. I mean it. Let's get Kendrick in here. Maybe his communication skills are better than mine. Okay. All right, let's do it. My name is Emily, and I have been watching Bravo TV as a form of self-care for over a decade. Needless to say, I'm a complete mess. Subscribe and follow along for painfully insightful recaps about Bravo, true crime, and other great TV. Hit that bell. Hi, Kendrick.
Oh, why, hello.
How are you?
Oh,
I asked first.
I know. I'm good. I'm okay. Everyone knows we record these, either the day after or the day after the day after, the episode airs. I was in the throes of what is like the best Bachelorette finale ever. And I'm not the person that's like, I watched it. I'm like, okay, they're gonna get engaged, or oh, he's gonna leave her. He's not gonna, what? I'm like, whatever. I'm an emotionless monster. You all know that about me now. I literally, like, there was a moment I literally just jumped up out of my seat. I was like, I don't know. I'm just like, I'm enthralled right now. Like, I'm gonna watch the other. I have like an hour left too. I have like another hour and a half. Oh my god. It's a 3-hour finale. I was like, what the hell can y'all do for 3 hours to like make me not get annoyed as hell?
I forget the Bachelor, like, they do that shit. They go for, it's a marathon.
It's so much. Oh my god, it's 2 hours every single week, and then sometimes it's 2 episodes a week. I'm like, dear God, like, somebody could have warned me before I took this shit on. Like, I would have never agreed to watch this had I known. I was tricked.
Yeah, The Bachelorette is good because I feel like, well, although The Bachelor can be fun too, because women are more fun to watch be crazy.
Yeah.
Have you always watched The Bachelor?
No,
Bachelorette?
I didn't get into it.
Okay.
I didn't get into it until like I started the podcast, because that's when you started to find your community and stuff, and people are like, wait, you watch all of that, but you don't watch like The Bachelor or The Bachelorette? I'm like, no, I've never seen it. So like, Claire and
I love
Tasia's
Claire.
season. Their season was my first one. I had never
Claire
I've never
is
watched
so
it before.
insane.
Oh my god.
I live for crazy Claire.
Oh my god. That was like literally 4 episodes, really. That's all you can give us before you're ready to get the hell out of there.
But
Okay.
you need to watch when she was on.
Ooh, okay.
Because
I need recommendations. I'll go back and watch. I'll binge the show in like a day. So
hold on. I need to preface this by saying I am not a Bachelor watcher. Like
okay.
I never can handle romantic. That's why I don't do Love Island. Like it's just not. It doesn't tickle my fancy.
Right.
So I don't get into it. But my sister got me into that season. She's like, just watch the Claire episodes because you'll love the mess. and because the problem is because I hadn't watched prior, I didn't know just how nuts it was that she was being that crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But then I like fell in love with how crazy Claire was.
Mm-hmm.
And so my sister was like, then go back and watch when she was on.
Oh.
And I think she goes back, and then they have those ones where they go to the island and they all like come back and hook
Paradise.
up. Those are really good. Those paradises are so fun. And she's
God.
crazy on those too. So Claire immediately became this crazy because she just throws herself into it and she's immediately in love with people. And just like doesn't have any self-awareness of her crazy, and that it's very Housewives adjacent.
Very. So, she's like, she has no, like, she literally, like, she saw Dale get out of the car and she's like, oh my god, that's the guy. And like 4 episodes later, she's like, yeah, we can stop this, I'm ready to.
But you know the story of that, right?
No, what do you mean?
Oh my god, what, Kendrick? Oh my god, I'm so excited I get to tell you this.
Oh my god.
So okay, so because it was COVID, right? Mm-hmm. So they had to shut down production, but they had already met.
Oh yes. There was a whole like little scandal behind this, right? That's right.
So they
the guys
totally
on the
already
show were
met.
Accusing them. Oh my god.
They'd already met. She was already in love with him, and so, she obviously did a horrible job hiding it,
right?
Because she was like, she was like, everyone get out. I want Dale. On every date, she's like, what did Dale say? Right. Like, I don't know. I said this. She's like, okay, but Dale didn't say anything. They're like, I don't understand. Yeah, no. So she's not. So I don't usually watch them, but my sister is really into it. They even do like that, like, not fantasy football, but like the Bachelorette version of that, where they like pick their people who are going to make it and stuff.
Like a fantasy draft or whatever.
Yeah. That thing.
Oh,
yeah. She's all into it.
Oh my god. There are people like, I don't like stuff ruined for me. Like I will, like, people watch Big Brother, they watch the live feeds, they get like everything spoiled for. I don't do that. I've been watching Big Brother for so long, but I rarely ever watch live feeds. I want to watch the show. You got to kind of watch live feeds sometimes, because sometimes the network will paint an entirely different picture. Like you'll be like a black person watching and like, you're like, oh my God, I love her. But then like the live feed, she's like the most racist person to ever walk the planet. So it's like, you got to watch.
You have to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
Question about the live feed. Is the live feed running 24/7?
So it cuts out sometimes, but for the most part, it's usually like on.
And you and you just log in online and you're like, and it's, wow, what a trip.
I know, all the time.
What a trip.
Oh, I couldn't do it.
Oh my God. Okay. Whoa. That is a total trip.
I know. Dear God.
Okay. Well, Jesus Christ. All right. Well, speaking of a trip, let's segue that into this.
Let's.
Okay. All right, let's pick up. Marlo is finishing up she's not finishing it up. She's in the middle of her story about running away at 10. And
wait, can I rant for just a quick second about this part?
Of course you can. Are you crazy?
Part 1 was like 3 times as entertaining as part 2, but I feel like the reason why I just could not almost connect with part 2, I don't know what your notes look like, but I feel like they covered like 19 different topics in one reunion segment. Like I feel like they kept switching, and Andy barely like held anybody's feet to the fire, and it was just like rapid fire everything. So it's like by the time we got to like the drama at the end, it's like, how the hell did we get here? So like,
you mean Marlo's part, like in part 1, like part 2?
Part 2, like when we finally get to the end, where like they're like, who is LaToya Hutchins, like that, all that kind of stuff. And but like it feels like everything up until that was like Wait, what do we were just talking about Drew? Wait, we're talking about Sheree. Oh, Candy. Wait, what is, and so it makes it, I feel like me and you are almost vindicated in the fact that, like, it feels like that whole like segment me and you had about talking about how Andy may be done with these reunions or whatever. It feels like I don't know if he has the energy for this anymore.
He didn't really need any resolution.
No, and we needed a lot of it, and that's what's it's a big disparity. I don't know.
No, I can absolutely agree with that. He kept wanting to move on too.
Yeah,
like, he seemed real annoyed.
It's so frustrating because like we the viewers are like, I need, like, I want to go back to the driveway. Y'all still haven't told me what happened in that driveway. I need to know everything that happened there. I still want to know what Fatum was doing with Drew and why she kept like threatening to call security. Like, I need to know all. I have a million questions, and you keep wanting to brush along and like just get through this day. And it's like, if you don't have the energy for it, outsource it. Give it to somebody else. There are a ton of different people that can do this. Just like give it away.
He had no emotional connection whatsoever to any of their storylines.
No.
Like, literally none.
It's it makes me see now, and that's what, like, me, the conspiracy series, I'm like gonna be watching other reunions, like, okay, how you acting at this one? Because then
he's gonna care more about Beverly Hills.
Exactly. Now I'm like, okay, you doing my girls dirty. I don't like that. Now I got attitude. Now I got a problem.
No, that's a great point, because he really seemed like none of this mattered to him. He was like, are you done? Are you done? He even asked at one point, he's like, Kenya, do you want me to move? I posted about it. He's like, Kenya, do you want me to move on? I'll move on.
Right.
Like, wow. You just told Marlo that you do not care.
Right.
Like this. Okay. Kenya, are we done? We're done. Bye, Marlo.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally can see that. And I get, like, you're far away from Atlanta. This isn't really your wheelhouse. He also got more and more black as the reunion went on. He does this every Atlanta reunion. I'm like, you need to watch yourself.
The vernacular changes a whole lot.
He starts to talking like them. I'm like, be careful, sir. And I get it. You're having fun. You're at the cookout, but you wouldn't ever talk like that at any other. You're not Orange
around
County,
Anderson Cooper.
Not right now. You're not on the Orange County set. You're not going to do that at the Beverly Hills set. So you got to stop it. It's getting uncomfortable.
It always does. My God.
Yeah. Like although one of his funniest lines was the season with Kim Fields, and Kenya started to kind of give Andy attitude, and he went, "No, I'm not Kim Fields now."
Oh. This ain't Phaedra.
Yeah.
Love
okay,
that.
So here we go. So she's finishing up the "you call me a whore" or whatever. You can't bring me one guy I fucked. And Kenya makes valid points. She's like, the things that she says don't match her actions, which is what we've kind of all been critiquing, which we could kind of say sometimes about Kenya, but more so about Marlo, to be honest. I think if you had to give a weight on that one, it goes to Marlo. Marlo wins that one. Yeah. Because she really goes to another level, and then she becomes this sort of like angel. Right. You know, innocent, sweet, like victim angel, survivor angel, you know?
That weird like defense mechanism. It's so weird to me that like her and Kenya have such venom, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, I brought your products at CVS. I use them all the time." And it's like, huh?
And then it throws you off, because what am I supposed to do with that?
Right. No, what?
I like that Kenya had it on ready though. She goes, you said Candy can't keep a man because her pussy wasn't good. I was like, ooh, she had that ready. I love when you can pull out like source facts like that.
The quickness.
Because I don't have that memory. It's like my stoner brain. I do not remember stuff like that. So that's why Pia has one of the best memories. So I'll sometimes text Pia like, what else were we supposed to say? Right. Thank you.
Yes, I love that.
Have your phone nearby.
Drop it on a dime. I love that. But I feel like Kenya has always done a good job of prepping for reunions, because she will, every time someone like has, because you know Kenya usually is in the hot seat most reunions.
You're right. So he has to come ready.
He has to come ready every single time. So she comes in like, well, yeah, I might have said that, but don't you remember when you did this? So like, she is so good at deflecting stuff. I'm like, you know what? Touche, motherfucker.
Such a good
Touche.
point. Such a good point. I'm thinking back to all the reunions where she just like read people down. Sonia decides to come in and balance the conversation and be like, I just want to say that my experience with Marlo has been good. I'm like, you need to just go back to being quiet.
You're very new.
Right?
Very new.
Okay, I forgot to mention this last week. Drew's teeth are very distracting. She's got a new Kendrick, this is one. I wish I didn't. I noticed new teeth. Like I can't keep my eyes off them. She has a new top set and I'm like, they're too big. I bet they're temporaries. It's probably isn't the final fitting. They're probably in there. They probably haven't finished them, but I'm like, they're just the top. It's just the top. And they're distracting me. So apparently she was saying I had to pause it and be like, what is she saying? Because I'm only looking at her teeth. But she said that she wants to love Marlo. And Marlo can tell where this is going. So she starts getting defensive. Marlo cannot control herself. Like as soon as she senses Drew's about to go somewhere, she's like, okay, but you, I'm like, don't, Marlo, be careful. You have to be careful.
She's so much like Heavenly that it's ridiculous. Like Heavenly is always ready to like call somebody a bitch or your mama and all this kind of stuff at the drop of a dime. You know what? Ooh. Her and Heavenly are both from Miami, I think. Isn't Marlo from Miami?
Florida. I know Florida because her birth certificate was which we see later.
Right. They both of them have that Florida thing where like they always have to have like a comeback ready at any time of the day. It's very
wow, they do have similarities.
When you think about it, it's a whole lot of them, but I feel like they would like butt heads so much if they were ever around
Heavenly
each other.
and Marlo together. I actually don't need to see that combination. I like mess, but that's not the kind of mess I need to see.
Dear God.
I didn't even think of that. Wow, Kendrick.
That's like the ultimate girl strip from hell right there.
I was going to say, like, I've put together some crazy ultimate girls trip cast, but I would never put them together.
Oh my God. That's almost what it used to be like when Mariah was on there, because Mariah and Heavenly were just, dear God, at the drop of a hat. I miss it so much though, but I need it.
I want to remind everyone how epic the fight was between Mariah and Toya. What was it? The first episode? Maybe the second?
It was very early in the marriage.
It was a real
season
fight.
1.
A real motherfucking fight. Andy asked about the break-in, and I forgot that Kenya had tweeted something about Marlo withholding details, but it seemed like no one else agreed with that. Like no one really backed her up on that. She's like, I wanted a conference call and we could have all hopped on a conference call. And then Andy's like, Sheree, did you feel that way? She's like, no.
Right. Nobody else did.
Not one other person was like, I agree. Everyone was like, Kenya, you were reaching on that one, which Kenya does a few times in this one.
She does.
That would we'll get to it.
But I remember. Do you remember when she actually tweeted that? Like,
I completely forgot. I completely forgot that happened. But I do vaguely remember. What was the comments on it? Were people like, I agree?
No, people were like, what the hell? Literally like me. We were like, what the hell is she talking about? Because we thought she was referencing an episode. And so we're like, what the hell is she talking about? Then like the news came out, like that news article where she like gave the speech and stuff. And everybody's like, why are you making this about you right now? Like literally her and her boys were like there and this could have been much worse. But like somehow like turned into a Marlo versus Kenya thing when it should have just been, thank God the nephews are okay kind of thing. It was really weird. That was a weird one from Kenya.
Yep. She doesn't always hit.
Not always.
Some of them are misses.
Yeah.
Some of them are misses. Andy is pretty savage when he asks about Marlo kicking out the boys. And Marlo's like, I think it was a problem with the way I worded it. I needed a rest. I was protecting them from me. And the way Andy calls her out here, it was pretty savage. He's like, I'm just, I'm just saying, hearing your story and what you went through, I would just think you would never want them to go through that. And Candy eloquently points out that, after the parallels, you said you thought you were going to your forever home, and that them kicking you out is what changed you and turned you into like, some bad girl breaking rules, etc. And Marlo did not see that coming. Marlo, you could tell she starts to panic, and she goes, well, you see, foster parents, they take classes. I didn't go to classes. So I went to a therapist. I got a life coach, all things she could have done with them still living in the house.
True.
And she can tell no one's really buying that one. Like, she could tell this one, she's really you could feel her trying to like skirt over that. Right. She's like, can we get off this topic, please? Because I didn't come prepared for this one. I thought we were just going to kind of let me get off the hook here after I told that story of my past. No, we're still going to go here. Damn it.
I almost applaud her too, not for like anything she said is actually, but I give her credit almost because if you're going to have a defense, that's not too bad of one, because saying the whole thing of like using that argument and kind of flipping it and being like, well, you get to learn with the baby from the beginning, and you take prenatal classes and all this kind of stuff. Then just being like, they were teenagers, they were thrown to me, I had to figure it out. It's almost kind of like, well,
you're like, wow, you pulled that one out of nowhere. Okay,
right, got that one out of here.
I'm like, I didn't know foster parents took classes.
Me neither.
I need to Google that. I didn't even.
We might need to check that. Yeah.
Do they?
I don't know if we want to. I don't know if Marlo is a reliable narrator for us, so we might need to fact check that.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
I don't know about that. They might just need to get like an online certification or something. Like, yeah, I do that. I'm like,
right,
sure.
We'll see.
We'll
fact check, then we'll report back for part 3 of the reunion.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
Exactly. Well, so, and finally we find she does not hear from her sister at all anymore, and that is pretty sad.
Yeah.
But as Marlo's telling this whole bit, Kenya goes, "Can I have a tissue, please?" And I thought, power move. Ultimate power move. Subtle, effortless. Andy goes, "Are you just so moved?" She said, "Oh, no, my nose is cold." And Andy says to Marlo, "Thank you for sharing that." And Marlo says, "Thank you for letting me open up." And Kenya, under her breath, "It's called damage control." And Marlo, "It's called evil bitch." This exchange was so like subtle but intense. And then Marlo tries to go into this bit, hurt people. That's why Kenya and I hurt each other. And Kenya's not having it. And this Andy straight up goes, "You want me to move on, Kenya? I would love it. I'm going to move on." It just sent such a message to Marlo, like she's the queen over you. Like I didn't mind it, but I was still like, damn, like Andy.
It was
I don't know if that was appropriate.
I know,
right?
That whole part, like it felt like Kenya saw like clean through that, because Marlo literally took what one of the fans said in their comment. They were like, I think last week's episode, they were like, "It seems like you and Kenya both have hurt from the way you treated in your childhood. Is that why you guys butt heads so much," or something like that? And Kenya was like, "No, that's not why." But then like Marlo made it a point to say during this reunion, "We had the same upbringing. That's why we butt heads all the time. We've both got that hurt, and we've got to figure it out." Kenya's like, "Girl, get the fuck out of here with that. Like, no, we don't. We're nothing alike."
It's funny you said it's funny you said that it was a comment, because Candy's been saying that when she talks about how they prep for a reunion. She's like, you'll get one of those big comments that people leave like a novel, but you like kind of memorize it. And so I guess it's a total thing where someone leaves this like amazing comment on a post, and it's like they clearly do pull from that. So Candy's mentioned that, so they like it's real.
I gotta start commenting more. I barely comment on Housewives.
Like that's what she's saying Marlo was doing with her like upbringing story too. So
Are you talking about the Watch What Happens Live?
yes, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were on there. Andy kept trying to like, no matter what Candy was saying, he was trying to like divert and like give Marlo props for everything. But like Candy stood firm in everything she was saying. She was not gonna let Andy do that away. And I'm glad like Karamo and her were like on the same team.
I was so happy Karamo was there.
Yes. Like,
because Karamo said it perfect. He goes, "That's your white guilt." I'm like, it is. Andy knows he's not allowed to say anything but something supportive. So he's like, I can't say that. So I'm gonna let both of you say that.
Yep.
Right.
I'm glad this was perfect. They paired her with the perfect person because that was a good one.
Thank God it wasn't like another housewife, like from another franchise, because they would have been like, I don't want to say anything mean.
God.
Karamo's like, I don't fucking care. Bullshit. It was bullshit. I'm like, thank God.
Praise him.
I was so happy Candy was able to say how she felt, because Candy's like, she has been like trashing my name. Candy's like, me? You want me to go there?
Do you think they'll be friends next season? Candy's pretty forgiving.
I was gonna say she's just like, whatever, I'll just let it go. She just has to.
The way these rumors are, I'm really starting to think it's gonna be those 6 and Portia next season.
I know Portia wants back on the show.
Do you think so?
I do. Well, I mean, I forget that she's got that rich ass man.
Right. She doesn't need the money.
I don't want to see Simon though. I don't want to.
Surprisingly, he was one of the more likable things about her spinoff, if I'm being honest. Like,
yeah, but I don't ever want to see them kiss again.
No.
See?
No, we don't need that visual.
Don't grab his face and kiss him and don't tell. Makes my skin crawl. Right?
I do want to. I'm excited if she does come back, because I feel like she's interested in coming back, but I feel like they absolutely want her back on the show. I don't feel like they ever wanted her to leave, first of all.
They were kind pissed, I think.
Yeah, they were like, okay, we want to talk about all of this, but you don't want to. That's fucked up. But yeah, I feel like I would love to like see this, because Candy has the money, but she's very frugal. So she's like, you don't see her like being, lavishly living and all that kind of stuff. Portia, on the other hand, I feel like we're about to see like another level of black opulence on this show. Like, Portia is about to, like, every time she walks to breakfast, there are gonna be people dancing like a whole little tribute to her, like as she walks to the dinner table to get the orange. Like, it's gonna be ridiculous, and I'm gonna be kind of here for it.
You know what I think may happen too is I think Portia is going to come back and be the villain.
Oh, absolutely.
And won't that be cool?
They gotta punish her. They gotta punish her for leaving. So, because I was trying to think of like, okay, on this show, where does she fit in? So obviously her and Drew are going to be besties. That's going to be her number one go-to, because they got along last time. They still hang out literally all the time off the show. So that's a good one. Drew is in with Kenya and Candy, though. I think that Portia and Candy are still really good, so that'll be a good one. But I don't know where Kenya fits into that. Marlo doesn't fit into that. Maybe she'll get to know Sonya. I don't know. Sheree, I don't think she likes either. I don't think so. So they could easily become a little that Marlo, Sheree, Sonya. They could easily become a team and like make her seem like the worst part, and then like get Kenya on board too. I don't know. This might be a bad
man, Kenya. What's Kenya gonna do? That really puts Kenya in a new predicament, doesn't it? Okay, because we know Candy's cool with Portia. We know Drew's like practically besties. Well, you know what we mean, besties. So what the hell? Kenya is like, please God, no.
She's gonna pick. She has to pick either her or Marlo. She don't want to pick Marlo, so I think that enough time.
Maybe she'll be cool with Portia. That would be awesome.
They were friends for a while, but
I would love it. How long were they friends? How long did that last?
Oh, like half a season.
Yeah, I was like, they weren't friends long enough for me to like really remember how that went.
No, they were like, they got back friends. Like, they both had their babies around the same time.
Yeah, that's great friends.
But then Nene and Portia were on the outs, but then halfway through the season they made back up, and that's when Portia was like, I don't need Kenya's ass. So she went back to Nene, and it was all over from there.
Yeah, that's what it was. I forgot about that.
Yep.
Ooh, that would be such an interesting dynamic. Yeah,
Mhm.
unfortunately for Kenya, I do want to see that.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I would like
Kenya.
to see it.
Kenya's tough enough. She can handle it. She
Yeah.
got a year off.
Right. Portia, you'll be okay, girl.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah,
Mhm.
they all have it. Marlo's going to be the one freaking out the most.
Oh, right.
She's going to be terrified, but she does have, which is such a weak team, but she does have Sheree and Sonya. But it's such a weak team.
Yeah, you might as well be alone. Ooh, with friends like that. All right.
Oh my God. They're over there like busted up, like, yeah, fuck you guys. We're like, I don't even
Like,
think
all
it
right.
doesn't matter. So that's cute.
Yeah.
Sheree's like, she by Sheree. We're like, don't you even utter those
Never.
words again.
Oh my God. Ooh, that is gonna be some good shade next season.
I need
about
all of
everything
it.
Shebash. Oh my God. They're gonna eat
I
that
need
up.
all of it. Oh my God. Okay. Let's keep it going. All right. I like that they threw the editors some props about the like receipts package, and they show like they show all the compilations that they put together of like Ralph's gaslighting and the Marlo being like, I have never said one thing about Kenya's husband or child, and they're like, okay, and they cut to everything. I like Andy being like, did you guys expect them to be so shady? I like them all being like, no.
Called out on everything.
No,
everything.
We certainly did not, because then we were watching it like, damn. Right after.
Oh well.
So Andy asked Drew, was Ralph upset about the gaslighting movie? She's like, of course.
Why wouldn't he be? But it's true. So
but girl,
yeah.
She's like, however, when I read the definition, I thought, oh yeah, okay, he does that.
Yeah, that's him to a T.
And we worked through it. I go, sure.
Did you now?
Did you, Drew? But this is where they talk about Marlo's edges, and this is where she's like, I'm using Kenya more hair care. And it's one of those compliments that feels like it's more of a threat.
It does kind of feel like a threat, doesn't it?
You're like, okay. Like,
right.
I don't know what that means. I don't know. I don't feel safe.
You can tell Kenya was completely thrown off by it too. She was like, wait, where are we going with this?
Yeah, she's like, I went to the CVS and I got it. I'm like, I don't trust it.
Right. What are we doing?
Don't.
What are we doing?
No one move. No one make any sudden movements. If you don't look at it, it's like you're walking into a trap. No one no one touch it. Okay.
Right. Sure.
The whole thing about Ralph playing football and she's like, well, he was red shirted. And Sheree rolls her eyes. Like, I really like Sheree and Drew being at odds. I love I just like that. I need them to stay frenemies.
You know, my favorite thing of the season was it's gonna be fun. Yeah. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
When you think about it, they kind of fight the same.
They do.
Right? They kind of like they both have good witty comebacks, and they both kind of get handsy, and like I think that they should just keep this going. Don't ever stop, ladies.
They both lie a little bit, like you know, it's very even playing ground. Yeah.
Same. I like it. Same style. Keep it up. Keep it up. So we get Kenya's package, and she talks about how doing Dancing with the Stars was so great because she was dancing for her grandmother, and that was cute. She's still not divorced, and anytime they talk about Mark,
Frankel, geez,
he makes my hair stand up, because he's just truly one of the scariest people ever. Yes. Watching him on their scenes, I think that they might be the most uncomfortable couple of all time to watch. Yeah. Any minute you're like, I would not be surprised if there was allegedly physical abuse in that relationship.
He gives off those vibes.
Right?
Easily.
Just not a safe person.
No, every time, like I feel like he's one of those guys that like does that nagging shit where it's like he tries to put you down, like in order like to put you. It's like, no, I'm your fucking wife. Just give me a compliment. Tell me nice thing. I don't need this like backhanded, nice, nasty shit that you're trying to do. It's so it's creepy to do for someone's husband to do
It
because
was
it has like bigger
textbook.
implications. Yes.
Textbook, like when he was making her get like the suits for the event, and she had to like get all these different suits last minute. Like he didn't tell her until last minute he needed a suit. Then she's showing him the suits, and she's like, well, now I have to get myself ready. He's like, oh, because you weren't doing anything all day. And she's like, no, I was getting you the suits. And he's like, and he just kept, it's like verbal abuse that was very classic abuse. Oh my God. I was like, oh, get out.
Let me ask you, do you believe that like he's not asking for anything? Because I absolutely don't believe that.
Yeah, no, I don't believe that at all.
Yeah.
He's such an ego-based human being that he, and like, because he was even on the show at all, I feel like he now must feel like and his daughter's on the show. I feel completely like he's asking for some cut of this shit. Something. Brooklyn, if Brooklyn's gonna appear, he wants a cut of the money. I don't know, but I'm right there with you. There's just, I don't believe it.
Creepo.
She just can't discuss it.
Right.
And she doesn't want to upset him. If it's very Bethany adjacent.
Yes, very Jason Hoppy. Like,
by the way, I posted it on my stories, but if you haven't, the Bravo Docket, that podcast with the two lawyers,
yes, love them.
They did a podcast on Bethany's divorce. I think they're going to do it. I think they only did part 1. There were details in there that I hadn't heard. And like, because I always wondered, we've always wondered, why was it taking so long? Like what took years? So they break down like how the whole marriage dissolved and then like what happened. They had to cohabitate for a long time. And like the shit that he was doing, it's like, because a lot of the records are sealed. A lot of them are sealed, but they did have access to what they were able to get. He was doing creepy shit. Like his dad would stay there a lot and they would come out naked when she was shooting things, like filming things.
Jesus.
Yes. Oh no. I'm talking psychological warfare. He would get in bed. She'd be laying with Bren. He'd get in bed and whisper shit in her ear, like, I'm going to destroy you. Like he was sick. Yeah. But then she does admit a few times that she snapped and like she threw water on him when he was sleeping. And like, so she like kind of essentially you can only handle so much sort of a thing.
I clap back because you clap forward. Yeah.
So, exactly. And so, but like he would leave the house. He would turn the volume all the way up on the TV and then put the remote in his backpack and leave.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like crazy stuff. So all of this, they go through all of it. I think they just did a part 1. I believe they're going to do another part, maybe even two more parts, because there's that much. But highly recommend, because it's always been a complete mystery to me of what took so damn long.
Some of this I've heard, but I don't remember where. It was somewhere she talked about this a little bit, and she talked about like some of the fucked up shit that he would do. Yeah, but I'm gonna listen to that because I like them. I just, as you were speaking, I downloaded that first.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna
listen to that. Yeah.
Oh, I would love to hear Bethany talk about it. If you remember where you heard, like, let me know.
I'm gonna listen because I know at one of the reunions too, she couldn't speak on it, but she had talked to Carol about a lot of the stuff. So Carol was saying a lot of the crap that he would do.
I remember the scene because Carol tells Dorinda it's when they were up in Vermont and the story broke that he'd been arrested. And so Carol was able to tell Dorinda, like, he sends her emails constantly and he like went to the school and was like, I'm going to destroy you. And like,
creepy.
Did you watch Bethany Ever After and like he was a creep.
Yes.
Granted, she had her part in it too. Like she kind of like when she forced him to be involved with the business and made him quit, like that kind of stuff. I was like, you need to chill out. If if gender roles were reversed, we'd be like, what are you doing?
Right.
But so there's obviously two parts in two people play a part in it, but he was like the whole scene where they had to like see his family every other weekend. And he was all confused.
Child.
He was all confused. Like he's like, "What do you mean we won't come up and see them every other weekend?" What?
Like just what I said. Like, what do you mean?
Every other weekend, like once a month. That's even
Maybe.
excessive.
Right.
What are you talking about? Yeah. So yeah.
I'm gonna listen
Anyway,
to
that was a fun little detour because I agree. Those long divorces are just, I'm like, God, and the money, those legal
Sheesh.
bills.
It's too much.
The legal bills.
It's
Just too much.
Uh-uh.
Sonia gets a viewer question about the whole it's a couples trip and why did you keep saying it over and over again? I think I was right. I was completely right.
What would
Sonia,
you say?
what I said was Sonia was just doing a really bad job delivering her scene.
Yeah.
Like she was like the scene was call Kenya and invite her on the couples trip. And so she was like, so it's a couples trip. It's a couples trip and we're gonna go, it's a couples trip. And I was like, I thought Kenya hung up because she was like, I am not doing this shitty scene with this shitty actress.
Right.
And that's why I thought she hung up, but really she was offended because she kept saying couples trip. But Sonia's like, I should have said it can be a friend or anyone, but I just got like stuck in a loop. I'm like, you did because you need to get better at this.
You do. At a lot of the stuff on the show.
A lot
you
of
need
the
to get
stuff.
better at when people ask you what are you mad about, you need to be able to tell them why you're mad.
That's a big one because we're still trying to figure out why you're mad at Drew and you've answered it 17 times.
Right. Still don't know.
Still don't get it.
Still don't know. I mean, I'm excited for the hair flip, by the way, next episode.
Is it finally? Give it to me already.
I'm ready for it.
Andy asks Sheree and Kenya why it was such a big deal that they didn't get to go to the iFit shoot. And you know Kenya has had this answer ready.
Oh, yes.
It's like a pageant answer. She's like, I'll tell you why it was a big deal. I wanted to show that I supported her. And let me phrase this the way she should have said it. I wanted to show her that I supported her. So I decided to berate her completely the entire rest of the trip because she didn't like let me support her. Like Kenya. And Sonia, of course, makes the most sense. She's like, okay, I get it. But then like when I was done, we have just been like, oh, bummer, I couldn't make it.
Right.
And let it go.
Right.
Kenya's like, no, I needed more of a scene. So I had to talk shit. Yeah.
And I had to call your husband aggressive. Like I need to do a lot of this.
Yeah. And he goes, Sheree, why did you tell Sonia to handle Kenya? Worst advice ever. I think they literally said that. Like that wasn't the right advice.
Right.
And even Kenya's like, yeah, what the hell was that? Idiot.
Right.
And she's lucky Martell called right in the middle of that. Right? We're like, oh God, it's real.
I'm not gonna do it because I did it part one, but I always feel the need whenever we say his name on here just to remind people how horrible of a person he is. But that's all I'm gonna say this time. He's a horrible person.
He's it's bad, you guys.
Yeah.
And it's listen, a lot of people cheat, but it's like it's the personality that went with it. It's not
that's
just
the
cheating.
Trifecta right there. You got on the right side, you've got Mark Daly. On the left side, you've got Jason Hoppy, and at the very top, you've got Martell fucking Holt. Good God, what an episode we're having right now.
Horrible men.
Who would you, if you had to choose one? If you had to get married, they were like, yes. If they were like, okay, you've got to get married. It's that's your only option now. Being single is illegal. So you have to pick one of these.
Oh my God.
Which one are you marrying?
That is so hard.
It is.
Oh God. I think Martell.
Why was I gonna say Martell too? That's terrible.
You want to know why? Because both Mark and Jason, they feel abusive.
Yeah.
They feel like mind fucky abusive, like like it would just like torture you. As where Martell, I feel like Martell's so transparent.
Yes.
I feel like I'm just so confused. I'm like, how are you not seeing what this like what are you guys doing?
He runs game is what he does. He runs game and I'll run right through that shit. So yeah.
And so you're watching it like this is so obvious. What are you guys doing?
Goodness. We got enough pointers for Melody over the seasons where we can handle Martell. So yeah.
He just seems like he's not so smart.
Nah.
As where Mark and Jason seem like cunning.
Mm-hmm. If you're taking the energy to turn the TV all the way up and then hiding the remote, that's a lot. Like that is a level of petty that is just like you need to write a book about petty.
Like, how'd you even figure that out?
Good Lord.
Like, how'd you even come up with that?
Oh my God. The neighbors must have just like,
That's
you're
what I
really
thought
risking
too.
it. I know you're risking it though. Cause like if I was a neighbor, I'm like, okay,
It's
landlord,
exactly
you've got to get
what
these
I
people the fuck out of here.
Yep.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Both. Right? Can you imagine? Oh my God. They probably heard them fighting all the time. Oh my God.
Right.
Oh my God.
Ugh.
Can you imagine? Oh, they were like, please, Jesus.
God. His dad must be as horrible of a person as he is, though.
Right?
To allow that kind of crap and to engage in it. Gross ass guys on Bravo and OWN and well, soon to be Bravo because Martell might make an appearance.
You know Martell's coming. You know right? He is. There was a part 2 in they'll talk about it on that podcast episode, but Jason had his mom notarize the deed on. Okay, so the reason why it was so hard for Bethany to get the property back, because they bought that big New York apartment. He had said to her that it will put it in a trust. And the reason why it was impossible for her to get it back is because it was in this trust. But he had his mom, who is a notary in, I believe, Pennsylvania, notarize this document. Now, you see, as a notary myself, and the only reason I know, I was listening like, that is not the way, you can't do that. Like, I'm listening like I actually knew this. He either he took her stamp and did it, which is absolutely illegal.
Ooh.
Or she did it, and that was against, you can't do it. So they were finally able to invalidate that original trust, but it took forever to do it. But like shady all around, mom too. Maybe I'm gonna go more for, I think he took her stamp and just let's hope
so, because the whole family can't, like, because if the dad and the son are terrible, at least let the mom be an okay person. Good God.
Because that's right. Ick.
Dear Lord.
I know.
Men are terrible. Just horrible.
Okay. Kenya asks, or Andy asks about John from Jamaica, and she was trying to like play it off. What do we think? Do we think they rendezvoused?
She said somewhere that they still talk to this day. I think it was on the after show, wasn't it?
You did say that.
She said like they still talking because I don't know. She'll never admit it, but there had to be at least a little smooching or
she seems like she doesn't. She's just like a little kissy kiss. Bye. She seems like a little tease.
Maybe a little wine and smooches or something.
Yeah, nothing.
A little good combo. Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah. Nothing like I want to hear about.
Or too good,
Exactly. Nothing too fun.
Right. Sure.
Okay, I liked this part. Sonia tried. Andy's like, Andy says, how did you said that you thought Kenya was using like sob stories to avoid being held accountable. Kenya very easily was like, I was disappointed in that part. And Sonia tried. She tried to be like, it felt like anytime there was, you were held accountable, suddenly it was about X, Y, and Z. And Andy, this is an example of what you were talking about. Andy's like, okay. And then he just moved on.
God. Can't we just like know? I feel like
he didn't even attempt to try to figure that one out.
Right. Like, I feel like we have all these people at this reunion that like like Beverly Hills, nothing's gonna get resolved. Like it's gonna be a lot of just like screaming and like whatever. I feel like you have a lot of people here that are ready for resolution, and he just like moves past it. He's like, who cares? Who gives a damn? Let's just move past it. Who cares?
Especially when it came to he just really did not want to hear from Sonia. Like he really he was like, oh, okay, I just had to ask it because it was on this card, but I don't. Okay, thank you. Like he really didn't want to hear from her.
Let me ask you, where do you come down on that? Like, do you agree with Sonia, or do you think
I don't want to say that Kenya wasn't going through something, but as an excuse to be late.
Right. Because as a viewer, the way they edited that together,
Yes.
it made me side with Sonya because it feels like Kenya just showed up like an hour or two late. And she's like, oh, sorry, I'm late. I'm going through some trauma right now back home. And it's like, what did that have to do with you like putting clothes on and getting on the bus to come here? Like, what are you talking about right now? So it didn't seem like the two things added up. So it could have been a lot more that we didn't see. There could be a lot of extenuating circumstances, but from what we saw on camera, it made it look like Sonya was, I mean, she was spitting facts.
That's a good point, because I have to remind myself of that. Like, that's the story they wanted us to.
Right.
That's the story they told us. Isn't it? I still don't fully connect to Kenya saying that due to her being silenced in her marriage, she now wants to speak up for herself. I'm like, but you always spoke up for yourself.
I was about to say, because I don't remember Kenya Moore
always
ever being a wallflower. Like, I've never associated.
In fact,
her
they
like,
even commented. Remember, he called her Ken. They even said, I like this Ken. I like Ken a lot because she is quiet, and they never knew Ken. They knew Kenya. So it doesn't really track that like she's using that as a reason for speaking her mind to her friends. So it did feel, I don't want to say convenient. It just had that vibe.
Just some vibes.
But again, it was, maybe the way they were editing it together. They do move through the moment with Ross quite well. Kenya clearly saw viewer feedback and was like, I'm going to drop this because I'm going to get in a lot of trouble with the Black community.
Yes, absolutely. She knows we don't like that word. We don't like that word.
So many, even her stands were like, Kenya, you need to drop it. I don't even think I saw one even Kenya fan excusing it. I think that was a universal, like, we're looking at it back here and we're telling you it's not what happened. Drop it right now. And she's like, oh, absolutely. And she even like defended him. And so thank you. Well done.
Called him a great guy and everything.
Boom, because he is.
There
and he really wasn't just talking directly to you. You just saw an opportunity and you took it. Misstepped. The way Andy sets up this question is so funny that even Kenya has to point it out. Andy's like, what were you thinking playing that shady game at Brooklyn's party? And he goes, well, the way you set it up sounds like you don't approve.
Right. I still think that was my favorite episode of the season. That was a hilarious episode to me.
I agree. Even just the outfits, like the whole thing. And then that random Karen being like, it's a kid's party.
Yeah. It's so good. Candace sucks dick in locker rooms.
And okay, we agree that a producer wrote that question, right?
It had to, like, either a producer or
Kenya.
Or Kenya.
Or Kenya. I have a confession. I love you. I'm like, she was either about to confess and was like, changing my mind, or they know it's a producer and someone was like, can we just stop pretending? Like, Andy, it was a producer.
Oh, I'm gonna do some digging. I'm gonna find out who wrote that.
Yeah, you are.
I'm gonna find out who wrote it. I gotta know. Like, that's been eating me alive because I love Candy. Took that piece of paper and she pulled that hat. She goes, who wrote it? Who wrote it? Around the table, who wrote it? I'm like, figure it out, Candy. Figure it out. We need to know. We need to know.
One of my favorite sound bites too is when she goes, I have never, ever sucked dick in a locker room, so I'm highly offended.
Right.
She meant it.
She's like a few other places, but not in the locker room.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Unfortunately, with Sonya's package, these are my notes. Literally say blah blah blah. They're having a kid. I'm not kidding. I wrote blah blah blah.
Yeah, and I don't even remember this part. So yeah,
I'm like, I don't care. Unfortunately, though, remember, Kendrick, we said we were hoping they would address Drew's conversation. Drew talking about what she said on Watch What Happens Live. And unfortunately, she didn't really deliver like we were hoping.
No.
But Andy did unless this is editing. So the viewer question is, Drew, that your advice to Sonia about the third baby was pretty bad. And Sonia goes, the part that was harder was you doubling down and watch what happens live. And Drew's like, oh, so you're gonna take what I said about you as a bad thing. I'm like, oh no, Drew, we really wanted to be like, Drew didn't mean it like that, but she does. And she's like, well, it's Andy goes, you made it seem like it's a woman's duty to have the baby. And Drew goes, well, a woman is the one who can have the baby. A man can't. So, and we're all going, and everyone's face is like, no. Oh, make her stop talking
immediately.
Make her stop. But then it's like, that was it. I have it in all caps. That was it. That wasn't resolved. I have it in all caps
at all.
I'm like, why?
It's so ridiculous.
That to me is a pretty important topic on Housewives. The majority of people watching are women. And I'm pretty sure this is a topic that I'm interested. I need to know where Drew stands on this. I would like to have her feet held to the fire. I think everyone on that stage would.
That would have been a good one to actually resolve, but we moved right past it like we did everything else.
What the fuck? Andy's like, I mean, and it seemed like Andy was invested in it too, because when it comes to birth, children, in vitro, surrogacy, this is Andy's wheelhouse. He's obsessed with it. He loves this. So I'm going to give it may be editing. It may be,
let's hope,
bad editing, because Andy does love that topic. He really does.
Right. Him and Candy had that whole like heartfelt moment at the reunion, like back when she was trying to have Blaze, I think it was. And it's got to be editing because the editing was weird. This part of the reunion,
just hell.
Who knows? And
because they did like that thing where they're going to cut to commercial, and so I was like, maybe they're going to come back from commercial. Oh no, they didn't even. No, I'm sorry. They're like, moving on to Marlo and Kenya's package. I'm like, okay, I legit have no idea. I felt so cheated out of that moment. Because Drew, I really need to know what your fucking stance is.
No one's like this entire reunion, like it's great because like we're getting like all these hilarious moments in the shade and stuff, but it's like they're like leaning on it so much that like no one's like actually being held accountable for any of the things that they've done this season. It's so weird because like we almost like Andy got in a mood where like he wanted to almost like therapize Marlo so much that like he couldn't really hold her feet to the fire a lot. He couldn't like he couldn't hold Sheree accountable for not paying people and doing all this stuff. He couldn't hold Drew's feet to the fire for, basically being a Supreme Court advocate when it comes to women's rights. And it's all just super, super, super weird, or bad editing. One of the two, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of sometimes like it's sort of proof that we might need a woman to host these reunions. As you were like talking about all of those points, I thought maybe it's because he's a man.
Yeah.
And he feels like he can't quite go there. Oh. Like, as you were saying that, I was like, okay, because he feels uncomfortable. Oh, and probably because that would be inappropriate. Oh, and that's because, so maybe Andy, hand it over. Hand it the fuck over.
It's like a big difference with like those first three parts of the Potomac reunion that he hosted, and then Nicki Minaj came out for the fourth one and just eviscerated everybody because like it was one black woman to another black woman the entire time. So yeah, Andy,
give it up.
Hang it up flat screen. I'm just saying.
Hang it up. It's time to go. Okay, so the Marlo Kenya package, Andy's like, Marlo, where'd the resentment start for you? And Marlo says, Kenya's always been dismissive. And I could have swore that they were friends for a minute, but whatever. Viewer question: how do you not see why Kenya isn't your friend after all you've said about her? And Marla goes, look, I get it. The only time she's forgiven me is when she wanted me to not be Portia's friend. And Kenya, please, you didn't want to be Portia's friend. Drew says to Marlo, you said you had an issue with me because I was friends with Portia too. Marlo says, no, I said I didn't trust you because you were friends with everyone I wasn't friends with. I'm like, that is the exact same thing.
Literally the exact same thing,
That
because
is
it was just Portia.
That's the literal. Okay, thank you,
They
Marlo.
literally, I almost feel like they've talked Portia back onto this show this
Right?
season, because like I
This
feel like she's
reunion.
come up so many times already. Like, good God, first it was,
Right?
hey Candy, you saw assignment by Portia. That car, Candy, you saw that Candy? She got that car, Candy. And now it's this, and it's like, good Lord, well, just bring Portia back so y'all can talk to her face, I guess.
I agree at this point. Viewer question: do you think Candy will be your friend after this? And Marlo with a very sarcastic, oh no, and I'm so sad. And Kenya goes, this is the sociopath in her. Everything about her is fake. Your name is not even your real name, LaToya Hutchinson. And so this is okay. Then they show the birth certificate, which says Marlo Hampton on it. And then she goes, that's not what Alex said. And Candy goes, don't get that man in trouble.
Now like, we need an Alex appearance. Like, who the hell is Alex?
Yeah. And is Alex the one that is Candy's? Is that the connection Marlo has to Candy? Remember how Marlo said that she used to be with Candy's godson?
Oh, no, that's, oh, no. No, I know who you're talking about though. It was
okay, so it's
else.
Not him. So who's Alex?
Else. No idea. She, according to Marlo, she pointed at Sheree and she says, "Oh, she's talking about your white friend, the crook." And so I don't know what that meant.
I missed that. Okay.
Right after she's like, "Who the hell is Alex?" And she's like, "Oh, Sheree, she's talking about your friend, that white man, the crook." And we're all like, that's when Drew threw her hands. She was like, "What are we talking about right now?"
So, okay, because this did not. Kenya tried. Kenya tried it, and then they showed the birth.
I'm gonna send you that clip because I pulled that clip from my page. I was like, "What the hell is going on right now? Memes? Who is it?" Yes, I was
okay,
like,
I'll look through
Alex
your memes.
The crook. Yeah,
I have been intermittently on IG the last few days, so I will look. I will peruse your page. I will find that clip because I was like, "Who's Alex?"
Right.
And damn it, Kenya, you did not do enough research.
Right.
Because then now we're just like, no, her birth certificate says Marlo.
Right.
And I love Candy doesn't even know who it is. She's like, don't get him in trouble.
Right.
She just knows you don't say that. Snitches get stitches.
And do.
Okay. But Kenya goes, you called us both the money girls. And Marlo, oh yeah, you're filthy rich. And Kenya, I'm comfortable. Marlo, are your taxes all cut up? Are yours? I don't make that much money. You can't even prove your income. And here comes Andy. This ain't no driveway here. Andy, gotta be careful, Andy. See, it starts to get, it's a little like, it's like cultural misappropriation. Okay, be careful.
See, and this too, like, you can tell he used to have so much more like energy back in the day, because I remember the season 4 reunion when Candy and Marlo got into it. They literally threw out so much crap about each other, and he didn't interrupt at all. He let it be out there.
He's like,
right, like, why did he stop this moment here? Like,
thank you.
I wanted to know, like, see, the old Andy would have asked, Kenya, are you having problems paying your taxes? Like, he would have asked like follow-up questions. Why the hell didn't we get that?
Thank you. Why did he stop this? Why does he keep stopping fights? I think he even did this on Dubai. He kept stopping them from fighting. I was like, why are you mad at everybody for doing what they're supposed to do? He's tired because you want to know why? He's doing too many fucking reunions. So it's like he just wants them to end. It's kind of like you're just clocking in, clocking out. Like he needs the shift to end because he needs to go to bed because he's got to wake up and do another one tomorrow.
Yes.
So he's like, we don't have enough
live after that.
It makes sense because he knows how many cards he's got to get through. So he's counting. He's like, okay, guys, we got to get through this. Oh my God, that's what it is.
Yep. Way too many. Because this past week, what he did, Beverly Hills, Southern Charm, and Married to Medicine back to back to back.
Too many.
Dear God. And those casts, my God.
Oh my God. So yeah, he's literally tired of like, and so for him, you need to be kind of emotionally invested in this. So yeah, he's literally like, okay, we just.
And outside of that, he does Watch What Happens Live and Radio Andy too every day.
Oh my God.
It's like good.
Too
You
much.
gotta calm down.
Yeah, you need to
calm down.
designate people for Atlanta because it's just out of your comfort zone now. It's just not appropriate. And Married to Medicine. That you can do the same host for those two.
Yep.
Boom, boom. They're in Atlanta. There you go. I know, right? Let's think about that. Should we keep it in the Bravo family? You said Ebony. I like that.
I would love that.
Let's keep that. I like Ebony because she's so able to control a rowdy crowd.
Yes.
And she you know what? And she's quick.
Holding Court is so good too. I love their podcast so much.
Oh, is it? Yeah, that's what you post about it a lot. Yeah.
Yes, her and Dustin, like they are so hilarious to me, but they still talk about such serious stuff, but they're so funny too. She would be perfect at it. So Andy, just hand over the reins and
you owe it to her.
Yes.
You owe her.
Bravo owes her. Yeah.
Okay.
Having to sit through Ramona's ass for a season. Yeah, you owe her.
And Luann. But especially Ramona.
You don't get off. You do not get off, Luann.
Because that's the problem. Ramona always takes the cake, but Luann, I'm not forgetting. She brought up my race. I don't bring up her race. Oh, get out of my, when she kicked, I can't talk about that right now. I can't talk about that right now.
I know.
It's too much.
It does something to me every time too. I get the shakes. I'm like, okay. I
remember when I thought I was going to recap that season, and I did the first episode, and this is before really anyone was listening to this podcast. So I posted it, and then I watched the second episode, and I deleted the episode I had recorded, and was like, no one even knows I was going to record. I was going to recap it because I
remember my first, because like I was so like, that was when I was a good ways into the podcast, and I was still I was posting and stuff, and like I was getting rating and reviews and stuff like that. But I remember during that season, I think I got to like episode, it was certainly after Luann had kicked her out of her house. It was a couple episodes in, but I remember I got like 2 or 3 star comments. Someone was like, nope, Roni ruined Bravo for me. I'm out. I can't even listen to this podcast anymore. Dun. I was like, okay, this shit is getting like, it's too much now. Cause I'm not enjoying recording about this. And then 2, obviously y'all are angry that I'm recording about this. So I'm like, nope, tapping out. Fuck it. Screw it. Yeah. Oh boy.
Thank you.
I don't want to go back.
No, never. They do flash back to, because Kenya says, we'll get your income off your square reader. Just because she's recycling one of her old reads, which was a great read back in You're the only woman I know with a square reader between your legs. Fantastic read. Fantastic. But I don't like when you recycle a read. It's a little tacky. I'm like, okay, all right.
We could have did,
Don't just go fresh. You got to go fresh. If they can flash back to you saying it before, it's kind of lame.
Yeah.
Right? It's a lot.
We could have got something else.
We get something new. Get something.
You could have, like, she has like all those mug shots. You could have, we can pull your police record and see what there's a lot we could have said there, but
we're just spitballing here. We're not we're not going to the reunion, okay? But we could have workshopped. Okay.
We could have figured it out. Kendra, you had time.
Yeah. So viewer question. It's to Kenya. Why? Oh no, I'm sorry. It's to Marlo, maybe? I didn't take very good notes on this one. Why is it okay for you to say hurtful things when this must be to Kenya?
Oh, Kenya.
Why is it okay for you to say hurtful things when your words to others have been just as disgusting? But Kenya answers, I don't think Marlo's words are hurtful when they're directed at me because I think she's just an innocuous, vapid, shallow person. And while she's talking, Marlo goes, oh, I need to look those words up.
That's when her dry humor is so good. Yeah.
That was like, ooh, so many people.
Right.
But I think that was interesting that the question was, Kenya, how come you can say horrible things or hurtful things? And she goes, I don't know if Marlo's words are hurtful. I'm like, well, okay.
Right.
Kenya, you do a good job of deflecting. I will give you that.
Right. And this isn't the first time we've heard this like criticism either. I think almost at the last reunion too, Portia like blatantly said, you can do and say whatever you want to other people, but then when it comes back to you, you act like it can't be done to you. So like Kenya's been hearing this criticism since he's been on the show, because I mean, listen, I love me some Kenya Summer Moore, but she had her day in the sun where she was just a she was a hard one to ride for. I'll say that. She was a, you know, me and Kay say all the time, like some weeks it's really hard to be a Nicki Minaj fan. Like for her, some weeks it's hard to be a Kanye fan because she loves her some Kanye West. Certain people, you got to kind of be like, oh shit, this is gonna be a bad week for us. Let me log off. And Kenya's one of those people. It's like, oh crap, this is gonna be a hard week.
Kenya is, for a long time, was the epitome of doing X and then someone did X back to her and she'd be like, I cannot believe you would do that to me. I would never do that to someone. You're like, but you literally just did. Oh my God, am I crazy? Didn't you just do that? She's like, I'm such a good person. I would never do that. It's like very martyr, very it's a lot. It was crazy making for a while. She's gotten better. But it's still
my
there.
favorite is like I would never do anything to ruin anyone's marriage, and then she shows up with the cookie lady to
oh yeah, no, Kenya is absolutely savage.
Yes, what a moment.
And then she giggles. What am I doing? She's diabolical. Like Kenya, let us not forget the diabolical things you have done, Kenya. It's just hard because when Marlo is there, Marlo's more like, not sloppy is not the right word, but it's the only word that I can come up with right now. But it's like, because it's more impulsive, as where Kenya like strategizes, like Kenya more hair care, like that bitch plan that. As where Marlo will just in the moment rage. You know,
go to hell with her comments. Yes,
like Kenya fucking showed up with Kenya Moore hair care, a band. That's insane.
It is absolutely insane.
And to this day, she has not apologized. This day.
I love, though, my favorite thing about that was Portia, like at one of the I remember what reunion it was. She was like, Kenya, you've done some nasty things too. Like you ruined Marlo's business opportunity. She was trying to show everyone her new wig line and stuff, and you showed it with a marching band. How dare you? And Kenya's like, you were the main one laughing at that. And they like flash back to Portia, who's like literally rolling on the ground, screaming, laughing, like cracking up. It's like, oh dear. Yeah, that's okay.
Because that's the problem, is it was really iconic.
It was.
It's like, damn it, Kenya.
AF.
That was real good TV. Like she knew what that was going to do. We were going to be saying that for the rest till the end of time on this show. Yes,
because I only sing it. So
like, hello. Viewer question for both of them. Do you think your relationship mirrors your own parent-child relationship? God.
Sure.
Kenya goes off about how Marlo talks about her sob stories and her family, but not about her own incarceration or her own issues, which is not wrong. She said, you literally slashed a woman's face. And Andy, I want to move on. What?
God. Oh.
Why?
This was such a frustrating reunion. Oh my God.
Why are we moving on?
Right.
But then Marlo goes, let me just say one little thing. You are a lying bitch. And he goes, well, that's not a little thing.
That was kind of hilarious. That was kind of hilarious, Marlo.
Yeah. Let me just say one little thing. You are a lying bitch.
Jesus.
Like, all right, we'll move on.
Whoops.
And Andy does. He says, okay, does your past experience in jail affect your life at all? I'm like, thank you. Make her talk about this, because like, we don't know about Marlo's life. I get that she's super defensive about it, but like, it's obnoxious to not know anything about her because she's trying to hide it from us.
Right.
And so she is very defensive when she talks about it. She's like, after that 6 months, because I did 6 months, that was it. And then Andy's like, okay, after that 6 months, did you have trouble with the law again? And she's like, I did. I may have gone here and I may have gone there and I may have done things. I may have gone to clubs. I may have possibly. And she just really skirts over the whole thing, which just kind of makes me feel like it's not she's not really worked through her life yet, which is what I was kind of
No.
saying last week, which is, I don't really know if Marlo has like resolved enough personal demons to be able to handle this platform, because we are going to dig and dive and ask and claw at, you. That's unfortunately what reality TV is. And she's so nervous to let us get in there.
It's going to be hard for her too, like to balance the two, because like we might see her in therapy in future seasons stuff, like going through and like, okay, I need to work on this and that. But she also, her other part of her brain knows like, okay, you're on a reality show, you got to deliver. So I know your therapist told you when they go low, you go high, but like that doesn't really work for reality TV. So you need to get in the ground with them. So it's like she's going to have, even if she tries to like correct a lot of this behavior, she's going to have that angel over here and that devil over here kind of like battling it out every time. It's like, do I want to be Marlo, the changed, fixed person, or do I want to be Marlo, the reality star that you remember? And I have a feeling that the reality star that you remember is going to win out every time.
I agree. Marlo wants fame really bad. You can tell that's the number one like desire.
Boy, oh boy.
So the Drew Sheree package was just gonna like a little start of this kind of.
Oh yeah.
Well, whatever. All right. So viewer question for Sheree: why is Anthony listed in your phone as Anthony assistant if he wasn't your assistant?
Valid question.
Sheree's like, I just put people on my phone. It's like, Anthony assistant, so and so gardener.
Jesus.
It's like, that's so insulting. Like, so then why was he ever listed as assistant? Like, if he wasn't an assistant, what made you write him as assistant?
Right. Whose
She's
assistant
like,
was he?
I don't know. He could have been an assistant. Like, what the?
So stupid. So stupid. Makes no sense ever.
So Sheree says that Anthony said that he wasn't paid by Drew. And I really don't give a shit about this guy because he's clearly just a fucking fame hungry little asshole that we all predicted.
Flip flopper.
Yeah. And so like they end up calling him, and he like Drew's like, well, he's like, she's got some recording of him saying, I never said that. And then they FaceTime him and he's like, no, I never said that either. And then he's thirsty and embarrassing. And Andy's like, okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
He rushes him off the phone. He gets him the hell out of there.
He hangs it up himself. He's like, end that stupid call. It's stupid idiot.
It's so dumb. You can tell, like, obviously, because I knew from part one when she was offering to call him, I was like, oh, okay. So obviously him and Drew have fallen out, and now he's on Team Sheree, and now he wants to do whatever he can to help embarrass Drew in whatever way. So obviously they have something worked out, and he's ready to flip flop the first chance he gets. So
he's like, whatever, take it with a grain of salt. It's like, if you're gonna make me your friend, I'll stay on the show. Sure, whatever you want me to say. Whoever's gonna be cool with me. What a loser.
God.
Ew, we spotted that from the second he came on screen. Like anyone who knew was like, this guy, no one believed him.
And just to reiterate, if y'all have been listening to our recaps throughout the whole season, we love you. But I think I said in one of our earlier episodes, I think this is the guy that caused all the drama on Basketball Wives a few seasons ago. He was the one that was telling Jennifer all this stuff about Malaysia, and then they running back, and all over the city people are talking. So clearly he has an MO. I'm just saying, this is Law and Order is for you. That's his modus operandi.
Dude, the fact that this guy is like hopping around reality shows just trying to get on however he can, and he can't get on because he's such a loser.
Yippity.
Right? If you are that bad at, like, it's kind of easy to get on reality TV if you're gonna just like be a little messy. But the fact that even reality TV producers are like, we don't want him.
Right.
Take him. No one wants you around. Ew.
No, you gotta find a day job, dude.
What a fucking loser.
And not being an assistant, because they're not gonna pay you.
I do have to agree with your original assessment at the top of this recording, which was this episode, this part was not as fun as the first part, because it was kind of like a ping pong match. It was like boom, 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 boom.
I didn't realize the first time when I watched it, I was like, this felt disjointed. I don't know why, but then the next day when I went to do the notes for the memes, I was like, this is all over the fucking, like, what is happening here? So hopefully part 3 is a lot more shade filled and funny and concise. Like we actually just like keep it to 3 big segments and then we end the season, because this 15 segments in one reunion is
I agree.
weird.
And really what's left to go over is just Marlo and Candy.
Right. That's got to be, like, I know Drew and Sonya are going to get into it again at some point. So
there's that.
And then the husbands. So 3 segments. Do that and let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Because what?
Because you're right. That was too much. That was a lot. And again, Andy, we got to get you out of there, boo-boo.
Yeah.
You're done. You're tired. You're too exhausted. It's for your own health.
Yeah, Danzo.
We're concerned.
Yeah. It's a lot.
All righty, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Kendrick, tell them where to find you, darling.
Of course, you can find me anywhere you listen to She Speaks Bravo. I'm on Apple, Spotify. I'm on all the places, people. Reality and Comics 2. Reality and Comics 2. There you go, on the hat now, so you won't forget it. And follow me on Instagram, Reality Comics 2. That's TOO. Come for the memes, stay for the rants and the stories.
Love it. All right, guys. Please like, comment, subscribe, rate, and review. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.